gossip and entertainment only. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday. So, I wanted to come on because I see this story trending, and I'm not a watcher of, I think it's called Love Island. It's a reality show where they put, it looks like singles together. And of course, you'll have your drama and your flirtatious, stuff going on. Anyways, this person or the person that is the center of attention right now. Her name is Cierra, spelled Cierra, Ortega. So it says she's of Puerto Rican and Mexican descent. So what is being said is she used a racial slur that is offensive to people from Asia. I did not know this was a racial term, but it's good to know, right? So I'm going to play you her apology first because while she was on the show, it seems like a social media post from 2015 and 2023 they have circulated online that appear to show Ortega using a racial slur. So the racial slur, I'm going to say it here because people have said other racial slur on YouTube, and I don't think their video was taken down or anything to that fact. And you can only use certain racial slur if you're of that community, which I think is bad. Like with black people, African Americans. I have to say African Americans because it's mainly in it's mainly in America with African Americans not to use the N word, right? But you have some people who use it. And me not being African American but a black person, I did not know what that word was until I came here to live in the United States. So some African Americans they use it, some don't. So it's the same for Sierra here. The thing with the African American N word, it goes back to slavery, right? Black and white. So the white people, they are not allowed to use the word. It's derogatory. The word contains so much hate, anger towards people of that word back in slavery days. And it's still used today to those who are racist against African Americans, black people, white supremacists, stuff like that. But then you have your own African American community who uses it as a term of endurement. They're saying with the A it's not, with the ER it is, because slavery days they pronounced it with the NIGEER. But now as a culture of acceptance of the word, the NIGGA is now acceptable for the culture. Still, if you're not of the race, or no, yeah, if you're not of the race, you still cannot use the GA, right? So there, right there, people like, well, how can you use it on your own, but you don't want other people to use it? And then they're like, no, if you use the ER, then that's what it is. But with the GA, it's only black people or African American can use it. A white person still cannot use the GA one. Definitely not the ER, but still you can't use the GA because it's coming from the ER. So I hope you get what I'm saying right there. So for her, this was against the Asian culture, and I'm just gonna say the word. It's squinty eyes. For the Asian culture, that is derogatory and racist. Like I said, with the N word coming from any other nationality and not black or African American, it's a hate word. It's not accepted and done from there. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and play her apology. And again, these were posts that she made in 2015 and 2023. Now, I thought I read somewhere where she went to have makeup done or go get probably something to do with makeup. And I don't know if someone of Asian descent or someone Asian was helping her out, and then she used that as a description when she was making a post or something to that effect. But I'm gonna look and see what it is. But for now, let's listen to her apology and then we'll come back and speak some more.
I know a lot of people have been waiting for me to speak up about the news that's come to light recently, and now that I've been back in the US for about 48 hours and I've had the chance to process, I now feel like I'm at a space where I can speak about this without being highly emotional, because I am not the victim in this situation. While I was in the villa, there were some posts that resurfaced from my past where I was very naively using an incredibly offensive and derogatory term. And before I get into the details, I want to first start by addressing not just anyone that I have hurt or deeply offended, but most importantly, the entire Asian community. I am deeply, truly, honestly so sorry. I had no idea that the word held as much pain, as much harm, and came with the history that it did, or I never would have used it. I had no ill intention when I was using it, but that's absolutely no excuse, because intent doesn't excuse ignorance. It just doesn't. And I just need you to know that I am so sorry, but this is not an apology video. This is an accountability video. I do want to hold my hands up and say that I take accountability for using the word, but I do want it to be known that I genuinely had no idea that it was a slur. I had no idea of its meaning, and it wasn't until I made the public story post in 2024 when a follower of mine reached out to correct me and let me know that what I was saying was incredibly hurtful. It was a derogatory term. It was a slur. And in that moment, I was embarrassed. I, of course, immediately deleted the post. I was apologetic, and I educated not only myself on the true meaning and the history of the word, but also anyone around me who was accidentally holding space for this slur. When this person did message me, which I'm so grateful that she did, I had a good conversation with her about it. I made the correction immediately. The word was immediately removed from my vocabulary. And I think right now there are tons of things floating around, different screenshots with different timestamps, and fueling this narrative that I sort of doubled down once people tried to correct me and was like, oh, like, I don't know, I'm still gonna use it. But that was not the case. Like, the truth is that in that moment, the lesson was learned, the word was removed, and it was a true learning moment for me. And I think since that moment, I've done so much growing as an individual, and I've tried my best to educate others who might be accidentally holding space for these types of words that could be offensive in their vocabulary. I completely agree with the network's decision to remove me from the villa. I think that this is something that deserved punishment, and the punishment has absolutely been received for sure. I think the backlash has obviously been very hard to deal with, but I understand that people are kind of confused on why I would have even said it, or why I would have been doubling down and continuing to use it. So I understand where the hate is coming from. And, you know, I can do my best to drown out the noise and pay attention to the truth. But what's been extremely, extremely difficult is the way people are approaching my family and my loved ones. You know, they have had ICE called on them. My family doesn't feel safe in their own home. I'm receiving death threats. Like, there's no need to fight hate with hate. I don't think that that's justice. And if you want to know that you're heard and that I'm sorry and that I will move differently, I promise you that's what will happen. I know that no apology could ever be enough for the harm that I've caused and the offense that's taken place. I know that moving forward, my actions and how I decide to live my life from here on out is gonna speak louder than any apology ever could. But I do need it to be known that I am sorry and I did mean no harm, and hopefully there are people out there that can use my mistake as a learning moment, and to just be better, because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take today and tomorrow, and I'm gonna take strides to be better. And all I can ask for is, even if you won't give me forgiveness, if you can just allow me to grow with grace. And hopefully, instead of sitting here and trying to convince you that I am this amazing person who spreads light in the world and celebrates cultures and dynamics and backgrounds, then one day you can see that from me. I'm deeply sorry again, and I thank anyone who's listening.
So you heard Sierra's apology. So what are your thoughts? Now, for me, I will also have to look into that slang. I did not know. So, I mean, I personally wouldn't describe someone like that or anything like that, but I did not know that was offensive language. And I think for her, well, you know what? For her, they're saying she used it a couple times, and I would think because she was not corrected the first time she used it, maybe that's why she thought it was okay. Now, we don't know these people, but I've realized we're in a culture now where people are not people are not given the chance to learn to apologize for their mistakes, and that incident alone can take everything away from them. So like she said, she was in the house, she did not know what was going on because there's no communication, so she did not know what her family was going through, and for the family having to come out and issue a statement saying, look, she is her own person. She will take accountability. Please don't threaten us. Please don't this with us. Our family is scared because now you're crossing over to people who have nothing to do what she did. And I've always said to my mom, it's like, let's use this as an example. It's not the same thing, but I'm just saying, if you're a person who commit crime, or let's say you work for someone and you're selling drugs, if anything happens, that person is not only going to take it out on you, they themselves, those people are going to go to the closest thing that you love, and that's your family. And they don't care if you backstab them, don't give them their money, didn't sell the amount you were supposed to sell out, any betrayal like that. They go to your family, innocent people that have to carry the burden or lose their lives because of what that one individual did. And it's the same here in the sense that people are now attacking her family for something that she did and they weren't aware of. And like I said, it sounded like she used it on multiple occasions. So if she was not corrected the first time, I think if someone saw it the first time and go, look, you can't use that, it's a racial slur, I don't think she would have done it before. And I want to give her grace in the sense that she came out, she apologized. To me, she looks genuine. Other people might say, no, she's only doing it because she got caught. Could that be a reason? Of course. You got caught, but she learned from her mistake to say, look, I done this on a couple occasions. No one was there to correct me. But with social media, someone saw it and now they're letting me know. But to say like she can never work again, or she is just a racist person with no sympathy, she's apologized to the community. Like, how much more do you want people to do? When they realize what they did was wrong and they apologize, what else can they do? Because to me, it seems like even if she went to like say, an Asian community or did some kind of work with the Asian population, it's like that still would not be a lot for some people, right? So it's like, what else can she do? And this one social media person, she said, I am not a part of the affected community, but I do hope they understand you were coming from with no ill intent. The internet is a harsh place. There's more negativity than positive feedback. A lot of miserable people dig deep looking into opportunities to bring down people who are at their peak and break down their success. Sending you and your family love, Sierra. Loved you on the show and hoping to see more of your flirtatious and playful personality. Now people might say, come on, what was the first thing you said? She said, I am not part of the affected community. And people are saying, yeah, so what? Are you dumb? She said she's not, but so she won't feel it. She's basically saying like what I am saying. She apologized. So what now should she do? Honestly, what now should she do? She's made the apology. She apologized for using it. And again, I'm repeating myself. The first post, if someone had said to her, Cierra, that is a racial slur for that community, don't do it again. But because she was not corrected or told, like I said, I did not know that was a racial slur. So, we're going to look into what the slur means for that community. Hold on. I think I'm going to do a screenshot so we can see. So I pulled it up on Google, and my question to Google was, what is slanted eyes? No, it's not what. Why is slanted eyes offensive? Like I said, I did not know until now doing this. And Google says the term slanted eyes is considered offensive because it is a racist and derogatory stereotype used to depict East Asians. And then they're like, why is it considered offensive? It says historical roots in propaganda. The stereotype emerged in late 19th century Western propaganda, which portrayed Asian immigrants with caricatured features, including yellow skin, buck teeth, and slit eyes. These descriptions were used to dehumanize and belittle Asian immigrants and were connected to discriminatory policies like the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. The term and the accompanying gesture of pulling one eye upward are linked to historical associations between the appearance of Asian eyes and conditions like Down syndrome. Oh, I did not know that they compared Down syndrome to Asian eyes, as well as the discriminatory notion that Chinese people were pig-eyed and less intelligent. In the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, these stereotypes were further exaggerated, leading to a rise in anti-Asian hate crimes and discrimination, according to the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. So again, I'm just learning this like how you're learning if you're listening, that they also compared it with Down syndromes because of how the eyes are shaped. Now, the thing with in America is you don't hear often of other minorities being discriminated against. So you have your Indian population, you have your, I'm going to say the Hispanic population also, you have the Asian population, and you don't see a lot of those minorities, especially when it comes to news or stories, anything to that fact. So because we don't see it a lot, we don't know that they're going through their own type of racism, if you get what I'm saying. Usually in America, when anything is racist or race is involved, it's usually black and white. And again, that goes back to the history of the country. So now to hear that in Asians in America, that they also have offensive, dialogue said about them and other people like that, it's kind of surprising because, as I said, in the US, it's mostly black and white when you hear of racism and things to that situation. So to see it coming out more, because we're hearing more now, especially with COVID-19, to me, it felt like they were showing more of Black Asian hate than they were of any other race showing hate to Asians because of COVID-19. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like America was doing mostly. And, when you watch the news and you'll see who was really attacking the Asians during COVID, it was mostly other people. I'm just going to say white people, could be white racists. They were doing the most attack. But to me, like, for some reason, that wasn't garnering a lot of attention unless it comes from someone who's black or African American. Now, I might be incorrect. You let me know. But I think in America, when it comes to black and any other races, it's more It's more easier to believe that it could be come from a black or African American person. Sad to say, but that is the country of America. So hopefully we see more people who are not white come forward to say that they too are discriminated, not only by black people but by white people or whoever, these people who they think they have to be in line with to not be downgraded, if you get what I'm saying. It's like with the Chinese, the Japanese, the Indians, whatever. They come to America and now they think that because they're in America and America is known as a racist towards black, like they're going to treat us like we're white because we're not black. And come to the realization, no, they do treat you the same. It's just that it's not made public. So, gossipers, what are your thoughts? Should she be forgiven?